Hi, I'm Judy with HarmonicLivingNow.com. One of the craziest things in the world for me to watch and observe of others and of myself is perception. You can go to an event with a bunch of people, go hang out afterwards, and everyone will have a different perception of what took place at that event. And it's so funny to me. It's so much fun to watch and observe. It's like looking at this glass of water and saying it's half full, and others will say it's half empty. Of course, it's a known study that those that view the glass as half empty tend to view life and approach life from a more pessimistic point of view or perception. And those that see it as half full are more optimistic and approach life and themselves in a more optimistic, with a more optimistic, positive perception. Perceptions are fun to watch, but they can really hang us up if they're of the negative kind. Our perceptions tend to come from our belief system. If we have a disempowering belief, we're going to have somewhat of a disempowering perception as well. And that can really hang us up in so many areas. In our business, it'll hold us back. Let's say we have a belief that we're not good enough, or we're not sure of what we're doing, or we're not sure that we're going to be accepted. We feel a little bit fear of rejection going on. And so we procrastinate in our business and we don't really put ourselves out there and live our dream. Our perception is that we're not good enough. Our perception may be that we would be rejected, but it doesn't mean it's the truth. It isn't the truth. It just is if we believe it. So what I'd like to do today is tap with you on loosening up some of our perceptions, just allowing the possibility that we could be wrong on some of these negative perceptions that we hold, so that we can approach life in a more optimistic, expansive way. So if you have not tapped before, please check out my how-to video and then come on back. We're going to start with the karate chop point. Even though I know I'm looking at this really, really hard, and it doesn't feel good. What I see is kind of scary. I'm going to honor how I feel. Even though my perception tends to be a little bit negative. It's the first thing I think about is all the things that could go wrong. I'm going to honor who I am and how I feel. Even though I know my perceptions can sometimes be very negative, I can seem to view things pretty poorly. That's the first thing I see. I just love and accept myself anyway. Let's go to the eyebrow point. I have this negative perception of life. Generally, I perceive things in a real low way, a real negative way. I tend to see all that could go wrong. If something happens, I tend to see everything that was wrong about it before I can see anything that was good about it. I tend to have a negative perception of things. It's not really fun, but I think it's protecting me. Because if I look at it positively, and I perceive it to be good, and it isn't good, oh my gosh, that would hurt. That would crush me. I can't let that happen. I've got to keep myself protected and hang on to that old perception. I've got to stay on my guard. I can't let it down. I have a need to look at it that way. I need to look at it and see everything that could go wrong first, so I can be prepared. It's hard for me to see the good first. It's hard for me. It hasn't been something that's been a part of my life. I've always looked at things this way. I wonder if I could change that. I wonder if I could change the way I look at things. Change my perception. If I could just loosen up just a little bit. I choose to change my perception. It would feel so good to look at things in the bright light. I choose to change my perception. What's the worst that could happen? It might not happen anyway, all that bad stuff that I perceive. I choose to look at the good first. I choose to change my perception about everything I look at. Open myself up to the opportunity that there's more than one way to look at things. My perception is just one way. There's other ways. And there may be ways that would make me happier. And that feels good. I like that thought. I choose to change my perception. I choose to open myself up and allow myself to see other ways of looking at things. I choose that now. Changing my perception. Giving myself permission to be lighter when I look at things. Giving myself permission to take in the good. Letting my guard down just a little bit. I'm open to changing my perception. Changing our perception really can help change our lives for the better. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I thank you for being a part of the Harmonic Living Now family. If you haven't already signed up for the Monday Morning Shift newsletter, I'd love to have you join us. You can do that at harmoniclivingnow.com, where you'll get a video a lot like this in your inbox each week. Until then, go out there and make it your own, and I'll see you next week.